Hello everyone, welcome to Magickal Me. I'm Jamie Mendez, spiritual intuitive and oracle, and I'm here with my weekly Moonday Oracle Message, and this is a message of guidance for the world as a collective and all those who find themselves here watching, whether you are watching live or on the replay. Even if you're watching on the replay months from now, you are here exactly in divine timing, and there is obviously a message or something of resonance for you that will apply to your life uniquely. So this is a message for the week of November 9th, 2020. And I see some of you just starting to pop in. I know that I am a wee bit later than I said I was going to be. I guess there's a message in divine timing once again. So, we find ourselves exactly where we're meant to find ourselves. Hello, beautiful Deborah and Judy, Johanna, Jeanette or Janet. Sorry about that, Janet. Robin. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. So for those of you who are new to my page, welcome. I'm just going to briefly go over what you can expect and how this works here today. So as I said, this is a message of higher guidance. And as an oracle and an intuitive, I do use my own abilities to discern a message and ask for a message of higher guidance and wisdom to come through for all of us and what we really most need to know moving through the energy of this week. And I use oracle cards to do that, an array of different cards depending on what I feel intuitively guided to working with. And I call that message forward, and the card that comes out of the oracle deck, I do use my own intuitive abilities and empathy or clairsentience to interpret that message for us and what we most need to hear. The reason that I do this is because it really does help us in having a bit of awareness or insight into how we can best embrace the energy. When you can embrace the energy and have that awareness of what might be going on or how you might be impacted, it really does allow you to flow in divine harmony with the energy, which does bring forward more of a harmonious flow within your life versus trying to blindly just struggle and swim against the current. That does create resistance, therefore creates energetic and emotional or mental blockage within our lives that could also eventually lead to physical blockage within our lives. So really the best way to work with energy is just to go in flow and kind of surrender to the process, go in the way that the flow or the current is moving. So that's why I do these readings to every week for us all. Hi Kathleen and Kimberly, welcome beautiful souls. Teresa, welcome love. Lynette, welcome. Allison, Dawn, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Crystal, welcome. All right, so I do know that I'm a little bit later than usual, but for those of you, who are new, I'll just really quickly let you know that usually the way this works is first I'd like to talk about any, news or announcements that might be going on here at Magickal Me, if I have any classes, any workshops, any events, also with my sister business, Oracles of the Light. But as of this time, we do not have any news or announcements to offer right now or to announce. So we're going to skip right on through that. Then I move to what is my energy or empathy forecast. And I really just talk about what I might have intuitively felt called to talk about, what I might be feeling energetically, if there's anything major going on astrologically or, planetary wise that might have some sort of an impact on us all. I'll talk about that, new moons, full moons, etc. And so I'll do that first. And then after that, I pull the card. And so I do that here live. I pull the card and then I show it to all of you. And we do go over the interpretation of what the message is coming forward for us for the week. And then after that, we work with a mudra. And I'll talk a little bit about the mudra more when we get there. Hello, Michelle. Welcome, love. Kathleen, not very. It's closer than it actually looks closer than it is. It's actually much further away from me. So nope, don't worry. I am very cautious in regards to stuff like that. I would never put myself in that sort of a situation, but thank you so much for bringing it up. Hi, Alexandra. Welcome, lovely soul. Thank you for being here. So with that said, we're going to go right into the empathy forecast. Yeah, it actually looks like I'm sitting like right on top of the bookshelf, right? But I'm not. So, okay, so energy forecast. Oh my goodness. So how are all of you first? Let me just ask that. How are you? How are you feeling? How are you doing? It's really important for us all to do that, to really stop and just check in with ourselves. Ourselves first and foremost. And, how am I feeling? How am I doing? What do I need? What do I need energetically, emotionally? What do I need physically? What does my body need? These are really great things and questions to ask yourself every few days, if not daily. And I know that, with the normal busyness of life, it is sometimes difficult to do that on a daily basis. But if you can get yourself into either a morning routine, morning ritual, like I said, every morning I do try to connect into self, connect into my family of light. And I really do just ask for some guidance for myself for the day. Takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. If you can try to squeeze that into your time and your schedule, it really is so beneficial. It's also when I take the time to really just shield myself for the day, or ask for, some clearing, bringing in the light of the Holy Spirit, things like that. I really just take that moment or two to really connect in, and then I'm really good for the rest of the day. It does make a world of difference, okay? So asking yourself on a regular basis, on a normal basis, I should say, it's a good idea. However, we are not in normal circumstances by any means. Hey, Lindsay Love, welcome. I see a couple of you just popped in at the same time too. Hey, Fred, Jesse, Karen, welcome. Annie, welcome, beautiful. Yeah, I see some of you saying bogged down. Oh, Kathleen, you're in a good space. That's great. I'm glad to hear. I'm in a really good space. But I will say, and I'm going to talk about this with the energy forecast, I do feel a little, I don't know what even the right word is. I feel like I'm in and out. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm in and out of here, 1 minute I'm feeling really on top of everything, and I'm in my body and I'm in my knowing. And then the next minute I feel like I'm just completely wandering aimlessly around and I don't know what I'm doing. So I feel like I'm kind of in and out of that place, we're going to talk all about that. Michelle says, drained and sore, frustrated with work, having surgery tomorrow morning. Oh, well, best of luck and love and blessings for a positive outcome, for the best possible outcome, I should say, for surgery and a speedy, smooth recovery. Okay. It's actually a really good time to be having surgeries, by the way, because it's the wrapping up of the old cycle, getting something complete and done with so that you can transition into a whole new cycle. Kimberly says, super productive weekend, feeling pretty good today despite a bunch of issues. Oh, well, good for you. I'm glad to hear that. Not about the issues, but that you are feeling good regardless. Lynette says, feeling great, full of energy. I actually want to clean my gutters. Oh, then you should listen to that. And remember, as above, as without, so within, so below, All right. Morning ritual is my happy time. Constant out of body, yeah, and we're going to talk about the why. I hear you. All right, all right. First and foremost, we're clearly not in normal circumstances right now. We are really on the brink of a whole new era. We really are. I mean, for some of us, when I say a new era, it is a new era as far as what is going on within our world, the way that we live our life, the circumstances surrounding the world as we know it, all right? But also it is about consciousness as well. And so some of us are really already embodying that new earth consciousness, if you will. It's also, 5D. We're shifting from third dimension straight up into fifth dimension. So some of us are already embodying that, and I feel like sometimes that's the back and forth that we might be feeling there, is when we're in that 5D consciousness and we kind of jump back down into 3D consciousness because we might need to do something there. We might need to, and we're not leaving anywhere obviously, but it's just the energetic we're kind of going back and forth. Also, timelines are shifting and changing, and that's not new. I've been talking about that for a few months now, and so we really are kind of embodying our multi-dimensional selves on different timelines right now to incorporate wisdom, knowledge, light codes that might need to be anchored here in this physical reality, possibly through you, possibly just through for your life. Also might be diving into some past lifetimes, some ancestral lineages and wisdom and knowledge. We've just come off Samhain, and we're still in that window of, the Samhain energy, the veil between the worlds. And I think it was actually celebrated, if I'm not mistaken, the ancients up until like November 8th or something like that, which was yesterday. So, there's a lot going on right now. And the reason that we're kind of dipping back and forth is because we're retrieving information, whether it be higher wisdom information and knowledge to be implemented, anchored, integrated here, or whether it be past life wounding, traumas, experiences that you may need to explore again or even experience again so that it can actually be healed and released in this time so that you can shift up into that higher consciousness, new earth awareness, if you will, and really embodying the energy of that so that you can move freely forward into the new era, your new cycles, all right? So we've got on top of all of that going on, with really being on the precipice of entering into a new age, what, many are referring to as the golden age. We also have a simultaneous, or I should say, in lieu of that, we're also, not coincidentally, having a major election here in the United States for the next, the next president. And there's been so much conflict around that. And I actually want to talk about that. It's funny because I talked about divine timing in the beginning and how I wasn't here on time when I said I was going to be. Nothing works out the way that, we can have the best laid plans, we can pave that path in gold. But in all reality, it's not about what we want, and it isn't about how we expect things to go. We can hold the best possible intentions, obviously, for whatever it is that we are trying to create within our lives, whatever we are trying to hope for. We can lay those best intentions or plant those best intentions and seeds. But the problem arises when we try to control the outcome. The problem arises when we try to when we attach ourselves to the outcome of situations and expectations. So nothing goes according to plan. And there's a good reason for that. It's because we are not all-knowing, contrary to what some of us might believe. We are not all-knowing, and there's a reason for that too. There is powers and forces beyond us, beyond even what we can even begin to imagine and fathom that are facilitating great change on this planet. And the divine, believe in whatever it is that you want to refer to the divine as, whether it be God, goddess, source, creator. The divine has its own plans, as do the divine beings of light and the creators of and the architects of the universe. So therefore, every situation that happens in the world and in your individual lives are symbolic. Everything is symbolic. It's very much like dreams. Everything is symbolic, sometimes literal, but for the most part, everything is symbolic to teach you something. There's a reason that everything is playing out the way that it is. There is no such thing as coincidence. Everything is about a precise divine alignment and timing. Therefore, I understand that some of us may have had, hello, beautiful Sue. Hi, Liz. I am just talking about the energy forecast right now and just talking about, the current, glazing over, I should say, the current political situation in the world, because I don't really do politics. I don't speak politics here. But there's a higher message, a big picture message, long-term picture message that wants to come through pertaining to what's going on in the world right now. And divine timing, divine alignment, and everything is orchestrated in a divine way. And even when you have, think that there are circumstances playing out in a way that are less than favorable, according to what you believe is truth, and you may literally know things about certain, situations unfolding that are just bad. They're not good. How could this possibly be for the higher good? Because everything is, you see. And sometimes when we are on the precipice of a massive shift and change and transformation, you've got to break down everything. You've got to really dig up even the roots of a situation to get the depths of illness out of something, so the depths of corruption or darkness, if you will, for a lack of a better term, because I don't really like to use the word darkness as much as bad, because darkness is essential, it's part of, goes hand in hand with light, but it's really about recognizing that everything that happens is divinely orchestrated to trigger another event, to trigger something more. So it is about releasing our attachment to the outcome and our expectation of how a situation should occur. And when it doesn't occur in accordance with what we thought was the highest and greatest good, we just have to remember to step back and allow divine intervention to occur the way that it needs to, because we do not understand what this situation is coming up for. It could be for exposing further injustice, because right now in the planet, the divine feminine, the sacred feminine energy is rising. As it does rise, it's coming up to rise into balance with the sacred masculine. Right now, we have been out of balance with the masculine being more distorted, more of the corrupt energy here, and the sacred feminine being repressed. So when it rises, it's bringing up anything that would be out of balance. So all injustices being brought to the surface. And sometimes key situations may need to occur that we perceive to be bad, but realistically, they may be good to create the necessary transformation and change, for truth to finally be revealed in the light, for darkness to be cleansed and cleared. So really, we don't know what is the divine reasoning behind circumstances, but we can do best for ourselves and for the collective consciousness, for the planet, in this ascension time, by detaching from the outcome, to not allow ourselves to engage in the negative emotion of conflict and challenge and battle and going, opposing one another, and allowing what is going on around us to create conflict within us as well. So the best thing that we can do is set the intention and hold the vision that these circumstances are playing out exactly as they need to, for justice and balance to be restored to the planet and to the collective, for ascension to occur, for the new to arrive, for us to sail into a new way of being harmoniously. You see? So that's the best thing that we can do, is hold the intentions that this is going to all play out exactly as it needs to, for the greater good of all. And then step back and let go. Remember in this process that it is important to embrace your center even more so. When this is happening, for lack of a better term, what we would refer to as like the darker forces, the energies that want to keep things the same, that do not want liberation for humanity, that do not want people to come back into their truth, into their power, for balance and equality. Those darker forces are, to kind of put it the best way I possibly can, throwing temper tantrums. And they do best when humanity plays into their temper tantrums, you see. So it's for all of us to detach from the outcomes of whatever it is. I'm not just talking the political stuff that's going on right now in the world. I'm talking about everything, whether it be COVID. Obviously, do your due diligence and just be mindful. That's important. We've talked about that before. Always be mindful. Don't be oblivious. We are humans too. But it's also important to detach from the fear. So that brings me to something else I wanted to talk about, which is my shirt today is red, and I very rarely wear red. And I see some of you just popping in, so I just want to take a second and say welcome. So hello, Laura and Derek, Carmela, Lindsay, welcome. Allison, Gigi, welcome, loves. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. So I was just talking a little bit about the empathy forecast and, what is kind of coming up at this time for us all, especially given current circumstances that we all find ourselves in, especially those of us here in the United States. So you might want to catch that part back on replay. But the next part that I wanted to talk about was the fact that I'm wearing this red shirt today. I changed like 14 times. I'm not lying. I couldn't get it. Something wasn't right. And I normally am just like, whatever, put on whatever, and I'm fine. It wasn't right. And I had to get red. And so I was like, okay, well, what's kind of going on with that? And it was because root chakra is actually being highlighted at this time, specifically this week. And that makes sense when I really kind of connected with that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was also drawn to not only wearing red today, I was drawn to crystals that were a little bit out of my norm. I always wear a crystal that has a grounding property or protection property, a shielding property. So I normally do one of those, and the rest are whatever else I'm drawn to. But I don't usually load myself up with protection crystals and grounding crystals. And today I'm not only wearing black tourmaline, I'm also wearing garnet, which is root chakra. And again, this was all done without me even thinking about the root chakra. I'm also wearing hematite today, so grounding, protective energies, really rooting. Also labradorite, which is, I think that can kind of go above and below. Grounding, anchoring, very magic, very shamanic energy, very protective as well. But it also has that ability to connect into the higher realms and seeing. And then I'm also wearing pink tourmaline, which is so another form of tourmaline, which, yes, it's more of the heart chakra there and the forgiveness and the love and the empathy, but it's also a form of tourmaline. So it's also very protective. So root chakra is the chakra that is located at the base of our spine, and it rules over our ability to feel safe, to feel protected. It does when we go into a state of fear, or when we have an imbalanced root chakra, it does tend to create feelings of anxiety within us, feeling not safe, feeling fearful, not in a stable environment, not needing, not feeling protected, things like that. So, root chakra coming up right now, when I tuned in and asked, okay, well, what is the connection to that? Why am I feeling that right now? And the answer that I received was because also root chakra is connected to our physical presence here on earth, our physical embodiment, and is really like that physical I am presence. Feeling grounded and anchored with all this conflicting and chaotic energy floating around, it does have the potential, and may have already done so for many of us, knocked us off our center, knocked us out of balance, and pushing us or facilitating us to go into those places of fear, panic, worry, doubts, uncertainty, not feeling as though, the leg we're standing on is a stable one. So we are being asked to go into our centers more, go into our root more, and connect into earth, and literally see yourself and your root chakra at the base of your spine, which is red, by the way, for those of you who don't know. It also is, red, also the color of that rules over like anger, passion, aggression, We've got Mars in its home sign of Aries right now, so it has the potential to be the facilitator of change, but it also has the potential to be that fiery, aggressive energy. So you're being asked to really anchor into that root chakra, into your center, grounding yourself into earth. But this time when you do, I think it's important to start to acknowledge the 5D consciousness and new earth consciousness and ask yourself to be grounded into 5D consciousness. Ask yourself to be grounded into new earth energy and anchored and feeling yourself really weighted down, growing your roots down into new earth. This way you aren't swayed from your place of peace, because as within, so without. And so when we go into that place of fear, doubt, anger, panic, it creates that in our environments. And it creates it outwardly into the collective consciousness. But what is in the collective consciousness reflects then inside us as well. So you don't want to be swayed by the storm. You want to remain still and calm within the storm around you. And by doing so, you are affecting change in the consciousness and in the collective energy. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. I also was shown that the root chakra of the collective, possibly the root chakra of old earth, or even what is being planted into new earth being planted in now, I actually saw that the whole thing was actually receiving like this massive flushing of energy, and it was clearing and cleansing out the stuck old paradigm, starting to collapse it and break it down. And so again, that might have an impact on all of us, where we have that potential to be swept up into chaos. It could create circumstances around us, outside of us, in the world, that are more, even in natural disaster type of ways, where it could actually literally shift life. I don't know if I want to say life as we know it, but shift the circumstances. It can really make some big changes by cracking in the foundation. Interestingly enough, one of my friends did actually mention that they experienced an earthquake this week in a place in Massachusetts that does not usually experience earthquakes, and it was a pretty decent one. So there are things that are happening, and again, I don't want anybody to go into panic. I don't want anybody to go into fear. Understand that it's all symbolic as well as what's happening, as the old foundation, the old paradigm has to be cracked in order for the light to get in. So it's this flushing and clearing out. So it's so important for us to stay and maintain our balance and hold our centers. So all the more reason this week for us to be, and again, I do not say any of this in fear. To promote fear, I don't do that. I'm not asking you to be afraid. I'm asking you to use your own abilities, your own power, to not be swayed by the storm around you, whatever that might be, because it could just be emotion things that are going on emotional, even within your own household. Really remain in your center. So you want to work more with protective crystals, such as, like again, and yes, like Kathleen just said, no fear. Yeah, it's very important for you to know the difference. It's like you put on your seatbelt in a car as soon as you get in the car, right? You put the seatbelt on as a protective measure, not because you're afraid you're going to get into a car accident. It's the same thing. So that's what I want everybody to know. It's about maintenance and mindfulness versus fear. So again, because the energies, especially those of you who are energy sensitive, incredibly energy sensitive, you may feel this energy more so than usual. There are those of us who are the new earth builders, and we are acting as conduits, as I like to refer to it as like the bridge between the higher realms and the physical realms. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. You might be a little bit more swayed because you are actually channeling, grounding, and anchoring in new earth energy as well. So it's just important to get your grounding crystals and to develop your shielding routine, or just implement it a little bit more so than usual. So again, the way that you could do that is working with crystals like I named. Garnet is one of them. Hematite is like a boulder that anchors you down. Black tourmaline, obsidian, although obsidian does tend to bring up the shadows that need to be resolved within yourself. It's not a bad thing. Just be prepared. You got some stuff to work with. I know a lot of people say smoky quartz, but I don't find smoky quartz grounds me. I find it just like it connects me into Earth Star chakra, but then it just whooshes me right up. So there are other ones that you could work with that are going to bring you back down, like jasper, red jasper, shungite, things like that. But for the most part, you can't really go wrong with any, earthier stones, greens, brown, like dark greens, browns, black stones, silver stones, you name it. All right, so you want to do that. And then again, your shield. So I will tell you something that I do that might assist everyone. And so what I like to do is, the first thing I do is I always call in my family of light that loves me unconditionally. And then I call in Archangel Michael. And I do ask that my energetic field and aura be flushed with cleansing, purifying light. You can see that light in any color that you choose. Mostly white is working, white works. Archangel Michael works with the blue ray, and that does work. Also, the violet flame does work as well. See it purified and flushed, and then ask them to create a sphere of protection around you. Calling in your higher self as well, asking it to be enforced and maintained throughout the day. I also like to envision a sphere of the flower of life grid around me, completely protecting me. And I often flush that again, like I said, and enforce it with either violet light or the purifying light of the Holy Spirit. It's really up to you and what you feel guided to. And I do notice that I go back and forth with it. So it just depends on maybe what I'm needing at that time. And protecting yourself and, cutting your cords and doing things like that are all going to benefit you. But I don't want you to go into a place of fear or panic while doing it, and like compulsiveness either, if that makes sense. Okay. Kathleen says, all but obsidian bringing up the shadows are what most of us need to be clearest on. That is true. It absolutely is, but you've got to be ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, that's why I said it, because, if you just put on obsidian and expect it to be protected from anything that's coming at you, you might not be protected for what's coming up within you, so you definitely got to be prepared and be ready for it when you're going to work with it, that there's the potential for it to happen. Okay. Next thing, because there's quite a bit. 11/11 is this week, Wednesday. So 11/11 every year is a powerful opportunity for an energetic gateway for higher dimensional waves of light to flood the planet, to flood the collective consciousness for ascension. So essentially what it's doing is it's facilitating some sort of like activations or upgrades and bringing us into this place of, little by little. It was like gradually over, how many years it's been happening. But we're having, it's very different this year with, obviously there's nothing the same about 2020. So it's obviously very different this year for a very good reason, as we are on that precipice of the new age. And so it's really the 11/11 gateway this year, energetically, numerically, I should say, breaks down to be an 11, 11, and 2020 is the year of 22. So you've got 11, 22, which essentially is a 22, which is a 44, right? So it's like the master healing. So this is coming in on a massive level. And this wave of light is being orchestrated not only by the divine and, source creator energy, flowing from source creator energy is what I should say. It is being orchestrated by the benevolent beings of the highest and purest light as well. Those light beings that are our ancestral guides and guardians that are here assisting humanity and working with Earth as well. So it's happening to continuously facilitate that change, that growth that has to happen. Like obsidian, it may flush and bring out some shadowy stuff, some karmic stuff that needs to come up to be released. So be mindful of that, as we're already in the window. It's already, I think we've been in the window since Samhain. where we've just been building and building and building. And now there's an additional portal energy or gateway opens up. And as it does, high frequency light is going to be coming through and coming in. It is going to be altering, it will alter us as a collective energetically. And it's helping us to come into more of our natural blueprints, our crystalline light bodies, and come back to that. But it's also going to be facilitating some powerful, not just like the releasing stuff that's going to go on. This might be opening a lot of us up to expanding in like our psychic abilities, expanding in your consciousness, and really having you start maybe even seeing yourself in your true light, beginning to embrace gifts that may have been hidden from you. That you just may have not been ready to work with or understand consciously until this time. So there's going to be so much happening with this. One thing that I did tune into when I asked about 1111 and what specifically was going to be happening was that the heart of humanity. And so, because at first I thought it was just like the heart chakra of the planet. And but as New Earth aligns, in order for that to happen, humanity has to level up as well. So what's happening is it's actually going to be beaming high frequency light into the heart of humanity. And it's going to assist in opening and expanding our heart chakras, our higher heart chakras even, aligning us with more of the cosmic heart source to make us, I don't know if I like the word make, to enable us to come into more of our unity. Now, last week you saw me come on here and do live a light frequency or light transmission that was anchoring in unity codes and beginning to embed each of us or activate each of us who are already embedded with those frequencies, kind of turning them all on is what it was. So this is further facilitating those unity codes and expansion within our heart centers to come into more of an alignment with where we need to go as a collective, with where the planet is going. So really bringing us up into, starting to facilitate that balance, if you will. The balance is essential. I just really heard like there's nowhere to go but up. We really have no choice but to, and of course we always have choice, but really don't have any choice but to just embody this higher wave of love light that is flooding the planet to help us. It's going to assist and facilitate the discordant, conflicting energies that are going on right now. And if you look to what happened with the United States with the election, just to take it back there for a second, for a lot of the time, those numbers were split like 50-50. I heard in my head, the country is divided. And I feel like that is only a symbolic reference of the great divide that has happened since the fall of the feminine, since the oppression of the feminine, and the distortion of the masculine, and even essentially the fall from source itself. So it's working layer by layer, wave by wave, gateway by gateway, to really bring us back into alignment with the unity and integration of oneness, if that makes sense for everybody. So understand that this is a very interesting week, could be incredibly challenging. And if you are feeling impacted by the energies, you are really, just remember what I said about coming back into your center, working with crystals that can assist your energy field. Salt baths could help you a great deal if you are okay to work with salt in your bath, as not everybody is, considering any medication you might be on. It's really going to just be facilitating a whole lot. But again, it could take an energetic toll, but it could also just open you up and give birth to you as well. So ride the wave, my friends, ride the wave. Detach from outcome. Okay. All right. Very lengthy empathy forecast, but this week is nothing I should just, there's nothing to shy away from because it's going to have quite the impact on us all. So let me see what I might have missed. Also, before I go on to comments, this coming Saturday is also the Scorpio new moon. So that's, and I believe, is that the last, I believe it's the last super moon of the year. So it's going to be a super new moon in the sign of Scorpio. We talk about Scorpio a lot here, not only because I'm a Scorpio, but because it is such an incredibly profound, transitional, transformational, alchemical sign that doesn't matter if you're a Scorpio or not. It's in the zodiac, and we all are made up of all of the zodiacs. And so it's going to impact us all, but energetically speaking, working with Scorpio is about the rise of the phoenix. It's really about burning down to rise from those ashes. And a new moon is a time, all the time, of new beginnings and setting intentions for the new cycle, birthing something new. So you can see there how that energy is also playing into everything going on. I do think I read something about Venus being in its home sign, or and a lot of the planets are, Pluto, everything is like moving into this amazing alignment once again, as has been the whole year. And what it's doing is it's like all of them together are acting as the catalyst for rising into truth and coming into truth. Every mistruth or everything that would create deceit, illusion, enslavement, control, everything that would restrict you or humanity itself from the truth and from love. These planetary alignments are the catalyst for the destroying of those layers or veils of deception. Okay, so might be an incredibly revealing week as well. Hi Randy, hello Flo, hello Ann Saverio, welcome. Thanks for being here. Curtis, I see you as well. Thanks for being here. Let's see, what did I miss? Kathleen says, one can't expect to grab all that much information flooding in one swell swoop. It takes a while to assimilate. So working layer by layer doesn't happen layer by layer. Yeah, you're perfectly said. Well said. This is why, you constantly hear, those of us that are, people like myself here talking, we are often talking about, well, we're releasing again, or, oh, we're doing this again, or, oh, there's another gateway again. And I'm sure you probably get tired of hearing it. We sound like broken records. But it's because there has been so many layers and layers of old programming and limiting beliefs and false concepts that we are just being, and we fell so far dimension-wise, and so we really are, it takes a bit to shift up, and it can't happen overnight. So yes, just like Kathleen said, these things are all tweaking and upgrading, but it's been getting a lot more fast-paced for 2020 than what it normally did. Hi Daniel, welcome, thank you for being here. All right, crystals, it's so funny to talk about crystals because I've been drawn to a lot of new crystals lately. Yeah, me too. There's a lot of interesting stuff happening, I think, just all around. So, all right. Thank you for listening, everyone, to that. We will go ahead and we will get into the Moonday Oracle Message. So, speaking of coming into power and coming into our gifts and these truths being revealed, I was guided to work with my beautiful, dear sister of light. One of her decks, it is Art Through the Eyes of the Soul Oracle. This was my very first introduction into Cheryl Yembrick Rose and her artwork. Her incredible artwork that is activation energy within it really was like, her decks were like breadcrumbs for me along the way to my own spiritual journey and awakening. So I talk about her all the time because it's true. If it wasn't for her and her decks and her paintings, I don't know that I would find myself where I'm at right now. So I am working with her deck, and she actually this one got a whole, I think, a revamp through Blue Angel Publishing. So it is available still. All right. And that is the Lady of the Lake on there with that blue ray, cosmic blue ray energy. And she is with the Sword of Truth, finding and holding her power. So very interesting, isn't that? Hello, Sandy. Welcome. You are just in time for the Oracle message, but I did talk about the empathy forecast. It was quite lengthy, so you might want to catch that back on replay, which will be available after the live is done. Okay. All right, so let us all come into sacred space together. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Just take a nice cleansing breath in through your nose. And release. Feeling your jaw relax, your shoulders, your spine. All stress within your body beginning to melt away. All worry, all thought, completely leaving you. Come into center. Coming into your heart space, feeling the love that always is within you, the love that you always are. All right. So what guidance comes forward for the collective good for the week of November 9th, 2020? We had a few fall, but I'm going to take the one that remained. Very interesting. Really resonates with almost everything that I just discussed and everything that I went over. It is the Shasta Shamanka. So Shasta being Mount Shasta, which is funny because it is the root chakra, although some people actually consider it to be the crown chakra. So they go back and forth. I will say for the most part it's referred to as the root chakra. But I think the reason being is because the energy vortex in that chakra, in that place, Mount Shasta in California, it really does pull up. So that is why it might be. And the actual Mount Shasta is such a high elevation. And there are so many beings of light there that have been actually seen, felt, experienced, myself included. I've actually felt them. Came in contact with them the first time I've ever had contact with angels. So it's a very high vibrational place. So I think that might also be why some people consider it to be the crown chakra. But I do feel it's interesting that it is considered the root. And we were talking about the root chakra today. And shamanka is a term for a female shaman. All right. And so it says, move away from a difficult situation. I felt all of you go, ooh, like that. And then I felt the relief. And I think that that's exactly what it is that you might experience this week. It might be something that you did not see coming or expect, but when it happens, you will experience absolute relief because you will be free of the situation, of the circumstance surrounding the situation, the worry, the stress, the tension, the karmic connection, and the debt all surrounding it. So interesting, you've got this beautiful shamanka here standing at the base of Mount Shasta. And she's literally, it feels face to face with the masculine energy, the stag. And so the stag is positive, it's not bad. It's masculine energy in that raw primal form. But I also feel like the stag, I don't know if it's the Celtic beliefs that sometimes stag can actually represent like our polar opposite self and what it confronts us to kind of face our polar opposite and whatever it is that might be coming up that's not of the light, or not serving us in something that we might have stuffed down and kept buried. So it really depends. It could be unique for every single person here listening to this, obviously. But for the most part, I feel like it's saying, it doesn't feel to me as though it's so much confrontational, although there can be a confrontation that arises with it. It is serving the highest purpose. So when any situations may occur that might seem conflicting, like what we said we've all been noticing and experiencing, obviously, in the world right now, with people kind of being disgruntled with circumstances, and some people may not be disgruntled by those circumstances, but they may be not so, what's that word? Humble winners. So, that conflicting energy, as it comes up to the surface, what is happening for that confrontational energy to come up is it's actually like, I don't feel as much as it's like a battle. It feels like it's finally like I'm addressing the situation, if that makes sense. We're finally addressing the situation, and I feel like it's kind of putting it to bed once and for all. With that said, you are able to actually move away from the situation. I do feel like it's saying, as within our own circumstances, that we could be finally breaking free from anything that we've been struggling with that might have been like a continuous cycle and pattern over and over again. You're just like, when can I get a break? That's what I hear. Like, when can I get a break? When can I step out of this? When is it going? When is something going to give? I feel like this is it. But I do feel like it's going to come up with a revelation at the same time. For some of us, this is like, revelations being and truth being revealed that finally give you the courage, the strength, and the means to step away from what hasn't been serving you. You may not have even been aware that it wasn't serving you until the truth was revealed, if that makes sense. I do have to say, because of the masculine and the feminine energy within the card, I'll show it again for everybody, I am also feeling like this is going to pertain to relationships. For some of us, not for everyone, but for some of us. And now I don't just mean romantic. It could more than likely romantic, but relationships. This could be friendships. This could be relationships with jobs. This could be a relationship with addictions, with controlling patterns and behaviors that you're breaking free from. Because I do feel like there's within, and I love the Sag, so I'm, Carnunos all the way. A very divine masculine, divine feminine girl here. But I do feel like there is a level of the Stag right now that's representing, I'm challenging you, like I'm challenging you to almost like dominance, like wants to dominate you, and I'm challenging you. But it is essentially anyone here not serving your highest and greatest good in your life is there because they are there meant to challenge you, to assist you in liberating yourself, which is essentially how you come into your truth, how you come into your power and your freedom. So for some of us, I do feel like we will be challenged. And the, truth that's coming up, going to be revealed, is ultimately going to be liberating you. And I do feel like there is definitely an energetic connection to the masculine and the feminine polarities in the planet, in our consciousness, in the world, and what we perceived as, the way, being the outdated masculine construct. And I do feel like it's about not just the feminine now, because this is not about one or the other, guys. I want to make that clear. I feel like it's about this feminine, this shamanka. We often hear a shaman, and when you hear shaman, you think man, right? She's the shamanka. So she is the unity. She is both masculine and feminine. And so that's what I feel like it's about. It's about the breaking out of the old understanding of the masculine and coming into a balanced, or beginning to take steps towards a more balanced situation, lifestyle, whatever it might be. Kathleen just said the unity between the two. So absolutely, that's what it is. It's the balance, it's the unity, the integration, the oneness. And now again, while that's something that might not be relevant, or not relevant, might not be like, it might not readily show itself to you in that way right away, but you're taking at least the necessary steps towards it. So we're moving away from a very difficult situation this week, coming into a more peaceful, aligned place of sovereignty, of unity, for our highest and greatest good, to put us in that position for the door to open to the next big journey. Okay? So remember, as things come up, why they're coming up, why they're happening. And remember, the shamanka is not shying away as she steps away. She is very confident and very much in her knowing and in her power as she takes that step away. Okay. All right. So I hope that this message and everything that came up this week really does resonate and does continue to help you through the waves of chaos and up and down. As we said, some of us felt like we were coming in and out, I really hope that it helps you to find that anchor, setting the intention to anchor and root yourself into 5D earth, or new earth consciousness, if you will. And just remembering, the shielding, the clearing, protecting, and love for all. We can't want a new way. We can't expect a new way if we can't be in love, if we can't find the love in everything. And the way to do that is by detaching from the circumstances and the outcomes of situations, not to get involved in the controlling and tug of war, and to really detach and just say, things are going to work themselves out as best, for the best and the greatest good of all, and continuing to hold the vision that it does. But also, when we detach from things, we can come into love. It really does. Another way that we could come into that love is by remembering that we have to first create through the self. What we want in our external world has to be created within first. So you're the example. You are the difference between the old and the new. What will you be? What will you embody? So again, that 1111 really facilitating that heart chakra expansion and growth. So embodying that. All right, everybody. That's it for the oracle message and the information coming through. We're going to move into the mudra for everyone, and hopefully we'll get one that's going to really assist us in all of this. Kathleen says a breather. Maybe by the weekend. I hope. Artemis. Yeah, Artemis has been coming in. I had a dream. I'm not going to go into the dream, but I had a dream. And the dream, just a couple days ago, what I will say is there was someone wearing a costume. And they were wearing an outfit, but the outfit was a costume. When they took, it was just a regular outfit, jeans, t-shirt, whatever. They took the costume off. Beneath the costume was a Wonder Woman outfit. And Wonder Woman not only is a superhero, right? But Wonder Woman is the warrior feminine. Wonder Woman was also believed to be, I think it's Diana, right? The Diana the goddess. So Diana is also another version of Artemis. So yes, Diana is going hard. All right. Kimberly says, oh gosh, I already strongly felt this with the election. Oh yeah. Also had a major family issue resolve itself without me having to cause an issue. So nice. Oh wow, that was wonderful. Wonderful. Hey, Jill. Welcome, love. All right, here we go. Mudra. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with mudras, I will just really briefly go into it by saying that mudras are an energetic tool, a holistic spiritual tool that we can all use. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are any level of, understanding or training that you have, it is meant for everyone. Mudras have been being used for thousands of years, most knownly by the ancient Tibetan monks. And they've been very widely used still to this day in many different modalities and healing practices. The word mudra itself is Sanskrit, and it translates to seal, which acts as a activation seal that aligns with our energy centers, also known as our chakras. When we form these mudras with our hands, because we have palm chakras within our palms and within our hands, and then we have triggers connected to the elements within our fingers. So when we create these mudras with our hands, it enables us to activate certain energy centers, as each mudra connects with one or more energy center. When these chakras are activated by the seal that you're creating with your hands, and you're channeling intention and energy as well with breathing, it allows for this ki or life force energy to be channeled through you, facilitating any breaking through of any energetic blocks within those energy centers. Each of your energy centers is connected to your four main bodies: your physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental bodies. Any blockage within these bodies are also going to start to be broken through with the use of these mudras. So one mudra can work with one chakra or more and facilitate healing, growth, and expansion as well on your consciousness, as well as within your spiritual body. So they are so powerful and so beneficial, so easy to do. I actually have 2 decks for working with mudras. One of them is Mudras for Awakening the 5 Elements by Alison de Nicola, and I'm going to be working with this one today. And sometimes, because these are so powerful, they really do stimulate that energy movement through your energy body and physical body. So if you already suffer from a physical ailment on your body and in an area that's related to the chakra that is going to be affected by the mudra that comes out, there sometimes is a caution that comes up with it, because it does stimulate the energy so much so that it may cause a little bit of irritation. It may not. But because there is a chance that it may cause irritation in that area, then I just let you know that there's a caution and to use it at your own risk. Okay? Doesn't mean that it's going to harm you. It just means that you be ready for the potential to have a little bit of an upset energetically in that area. Okay? All right. Hey, Angie, look at you. Did you smell the mudra? You popped in right as we're working with it. Awesome. Hey, Laura. Welcome, lovely. Thank you for being here. So Angie Walters is my beautiful sister of light, and she is the owner of Crystal Essence Healing. Angie works very much more consistently with mudras, very connected more to working with the mantras and the practices that go along with mudras as well. So Angie, if you pay attention to the comments, if she's familiar and connected to one of the mudras that comes forward, she oftentimes drops in some more information that you could use, as sometimes you can actually work with the chant or the mantra that goes along with the mudra versus the mudra itself if you have that caution issue and you can't work with it. So Angie does tend to give us much more information than even the card deck does have. Okay. All right. And we love her and thank her for doing that all the time. All right. So let us see. With such an intense energetic week, what mudra comes forward to assist us as a collective for our highest and greatest good this week of November 9th, 2020? Ooh, we got 2. So the first one, gonna love this. All the talking that I've been doing about it is balance. It is the Samukha Mudra. I don't know if I said that right. Samukha Mudra. All right. And then the next one that came out, also going to laugh at this, the earth element. And to me, as soon as I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, root chakra. Because we talked all about that root chakra. And it is known as the Prithvi. I don't know if I'm saying that right either. So I'll talk about this one first, and then we'll go into, because this is not actually a mudra. It's the element that we're going to be working with, which is the element of earth. You did hear me say in the beginning today, way back when I first started talking about the root chakra, it was all about I felt like there was the root of, I don't know if it's the root of humanity or the root chakra, the root of earth, of old earth. It just felt like it was being flushed out and completely cleared of and collapsed, really, for new seeds to be planted and to grow within its place. So it's interesting that this does look like a plant as well, little sprouts shooting up. So there's yoga poses that are associated with this, and for those of you who are familiar with working with yoga, the tree pose makes perfect sense with those roots, the mountain pose, and the Melasana squat. I have not done that, but this element rules the sense of smell. It is connected to the root chakra, by the way. Hello, Sherry. Hey, Lisa. Welcome, loves. We're on the mudra part, but we did have a very powerful, potent discussion regarding the energy forecast for this week, as well as the oracle card. So be sure and catch that back on replay once the live is done. Okay. Thank you for being here. Symbols are the elephant, the turtle, red. Told you I had guided to wear that. A red square, tree with deep roots, and a mountain. Talked about Shasta as well. Rules the legs and feet, elimination, the skeletal system. The qualities are trust, stability, support, and organization. What did we talk about in the beginning? Feeling the ability to feel, trust and feel the feeling of feeling stable, protected, safe, all that with the root chakra. So just further confirmation of everything that was already discussed today. And the mudra. And it's unification. Look at that. Clarity and equilibrium. It balances the right and the left side of the body. It improves mental clarity, activates the pituitary gland, heightens awareness of all senses. So this is really interesting, considering you talked about some of us might be having those breakthroughs of enhanced psychic intuitive abilities or gifts, coming into some sort of an awareness about different sort of gifts and abilities that might not even been something you thought of or considered before. Activates self-healing ability, builds concentration. Its element is space. So we will do this together. There are no cautions, so everyone is free to work with this. And Angie says that the Samukha mudra is dedicated to Shiva and Ganesh. So Lord Shiva being one of the three creator gods in the, I believe it is the Hindu belief system. And Shiva is, though, out of the three, the great destroyer. Is that correct? And he was the one that broke things down. We talked about that this week as well, things being broken down. And in order for that new birthing to come through, Ganesh, similarly, is the obstacle remover, so breaking through. And that goes along with our card this week, which was moving away from a difficult situation. Okay. Oh, love. Well, I'm so happy that you did make it here tonight. Thank you for being here. Everything in divine timing. So definitely catch back the replay because there may be something for you there. Okay. Interesting. And thanks for that. So Shiva's also, I noticed that it said that it activates the self-healing ability. And Lord Shiva, one of my personal Reiki guides, is actually believed to be the god who brought Reiki to the planet before we knew it as Reiki. That is. Okay. Angie also put in the comments the chants that you can use to work with these. Thank you so much, Ange. I love you. I appreciate you. Okay, trying to find my chimes, but no chimes. We're not using chimes today, apparently. Don't know what I did with those. All right. So we're going to do this together, and then I will take a picture, post it on my page, and I encourage you to share it or save it. Save it to your cell phone, save it to whatever device you usually watch on. This way, you can work with this all week long. The more you do, the more beneficial it is, the more you're facilitating the healing, the growth, the alignment that needs to occur. So if you could work with this at least once a day for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you are doing an immense amount of work for yourself, for the collective, just by working with it. All right. And I love how it's got the sun and the moon together here. All right, everybody. So we'll do this together. So what you're going to do is you're going to join the tips of all fingers on each hand, touching the two hands together at the fingertips. Okay. Just like that. And then you're going to hold the mudra slightly away from the body in front of your solar plexus center, which is just above your navel. Okay. Yes, Ange says Shiva is the destroyer who brought about creation. So it's interesting. Destroying for creating. Okay. It's all trusting in that process. So holding this in front of your solar plexus, you're going to close your eyes. You're going to relax your shoulders and straighten your spine. And take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And as you release, you blow the breath out of your mouth. Again, nice deep breath in through your nose. And release. We're going to do this 3 more times. Again, nice deep breath in. Release. Deep breath in. Release. Two more breaths. Nice deep breath in. Release. Last one. Breathe in. And release. And you can state, all of my senses align for perfect clarity and balance. All of my senses align for perfect clarity and balance. All of my senses align with perfect clarity and balance. And so it is. And you can open your eyes. That was really interesting. As soon as I first started doing the mudra, I actually saw an immediate fleur-de-lis symbol pop up into my vision. And it continued every time I breathed in and then released, a new one would happen. I would see a new one. And the fleur-de-lis is a very ancient symbol representing the 3 flames of the triple flame, or the holy flame, if you will, the Trinity, if you want to refer to it as that. So it's unity. It is the 3 flames of creation. Okay. All right, my loves. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me this week. I do hope that you enjoyed everything that came through and that it does assist you as you go through the energy of the week. And I do look forward to seeing you all back here next Moon Day. Remember, utilize the energy of that 11:11. Utilize the energy of this super new moon in Scorpio on Saturday on the 14th. Much love, blessings, and I will see you all again soon.